I just want to say from the top of this video, thank you so much for all the support here at the start of college football 26. If you guys have been enjoying the content, make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. Today, I'm going to be showing you guys how to lab your own offensive scheme from scratch. This is one of the most often asked questions that I get when I'm streaming is how do you go about the process of creating something? You have so many tips on YouTube. You have so many game plans on Gridiron and just tips in general. How do you find all this stuff? So these building blocks that I follow for every single offensive scheme are something I'm going to share with you today. And if this is something that you're a little bit rough at to begin with, that's okay. I'm going to give you a scheme absolutely free here in today's video. Now we're going to be choosing the Utah Utes offensive playbook today because I think that this is a offense that a lot of you would like to run in college ultimate team, especially with mobile quarterbacks in this game. And I think it does a really good job against the most commonly run defenses online, which is kind of the first point of emphasis. And it's if you can't handle what most players run online, it is simply not viable. Now you could be a run first player. You could be a pass first player. You have to be able to smoothly attack things that you're going to face online a ton. So the focus defense in today's video is going to be the double mug. And this is obviously the most popular blitz in the game, this mid blitz, everybody runs it. So let's get into our first, not one, but two checkpoints that we have to get into with any scheme we're labbing from scratch. The first is, can you block it? Now, the formation that we're going to be taking a look at today is going to be either the empty Y off trips or the empty trips Y off. These formations are really cool because we're going to have the ability to establish a run with the quarterback. That's the feature of this offense, is that it's a quarterback first run offense with unique personnel choices. Now, we're going to start off here by taking a look at the empty trips Y off, because one of the things that stands out to me in this formation is a play known as G down. Now, the G down is a cool run because it handles the mug meta so well. So many players are going to take a safety, typically the guy lined up on the running back, but we don't have one. So that's kind of a standout here. And they're going to come down and stand over the guard. But from a blocking perspective, the G down is interesting because when we hold that left trigger and hold the right analog stick to the left to pull up our block targeting, you see that we're getting down blocks by not only our right tackle, but also our tight end on the inside linebacker and the edge with a kick out block by the guard to the front side edge. So this run allows us to absolutely maul the mid blitz meta, getting outside with DJ Lagway. And you'll find that as you take a look at this, if your opponent wants to come down and stand over the center like so many players do, we can time and time again call the G down, get enough of a block on the perimeter that we're going to be able to make this happen. The G down is a wonderful run, and that is our first checkbox. Do you have a run that you trust against the most commonly run defense online? We've established that. Now we can move on to point number two. Can you block the number one blitz that you face online? Now, we just discussed that the mid blitz is the number one defense players online run. And with this, we've got issues from a defensive perspective. Number one, there's no running back to just hover over the center and react to if they run a quick flat. The tight end is the guy that they will have to worry about in this regard. So when it comes to attacking the mid blitz, can we block it? Well, with this being a tight end, yes, the answer is very simple. We can. And of course, we're using concepts we've talked about in other videos by untargeting the user. This is going to allow us to essentially have our protection for this play. And then from there, we can snap the ball, know that we pick up the blitz. And then from there, we'll get into man beaters and that type of thing here momentarily. We'll table that for just a second. But that is kind of the first thing that will stand out to you is that, yes, you can block this blitz very, very easily. Conversely, you also have the ability to just put this tight end on a quick wheel route and throw it in the flat, because if they stand here, you get the ball out quickly and you could catch a block, maybe a better block than one we just got there. That's maybe a touchdown throw on a layup level read. So this is a cool element, is that just the alignment of this formation makes it very tough for people to sit in the number one defense. We can run on it, we can block it, and we can dot. The user has to be on that tight end. So we've checked the first two and most important boxes, running the ball on the meta and blocking the meta when we are throwing. Now we're going to get into the stuff that most people tend to care about, which is passing. When it comes to passing, I have very, very simple rule sets. But before I break down those rule sets, make sure you guys open up another tab and you check out my strategy website, gridirongameplans.gg. While I'm teaching you how to build a scheme from scratch here today in your own offense, you guys can use the tools that I give you on my strategy website to help make you so much more efficient at the game. Our Vault, which is an ever updated resource focused on the meta, or the most effective tactics available in the game, is going to break down what players online are doing, why it's so effective, and most importantly, how you guys can beat it when you face it online. That way you know how to run it and you know how to destroy it when you face it. On top of that, we have all offensive and defensive game plans included at no additional charge and members only Discord access. You guys can bundle your college football membership to our Madden pre-sale offer right now. So if you guys play both games, we have that deal running for members. The link is in the description. It's the best deal I offer all year. Time is running out with Madden right around the corner. So make sure you guys jump on that while the time allows. Now back to the video. So dotting is very, very simple. I have check boxes for coverages. All the stock coverages. Can I bomb cover 2 or at least pick up chunk yardage on it? Can I bomb cover 3? That's a must. We have to be able to bomb cover 3. Can I bomb cover 4 drop? Do I have a match buster? And do I have freestyle routes that I can rely upon when facing man-to-man? Because we know that mid blitz is the meta. So with those boxes needing checked, we go to work. We'll get to something about nuance here momentarily. So keep your mind open to this because we want no tells in our offense. So obviously cover 2, we have to start off with what can we look at in our offense to beat cover 2. Now, if we have a quick snap play that affords us this opportunity, that would be the ideal choice because really you don't want to spend your entire play clock every single play at the line of scrimmage hot routing unless you're just a really comfortable freestyler. So as I look through this particular look here, I'm looking for something that is a quick snap option against a cover 2 defense. And one of the things that should stand out immediately is all go. All go is a very easy quick snap play. Traditionally, you're going to want your trips to the wide side of the field with this. So I'm going to align it like so. Now with a cover 2 defense, you're going to see here that the mid-read zone is probably the key defender. When I'm labbing my 7-on-7, I like to spy my pass rush. So that way I can work through my routes versus the coverage only. Blocking is its own thing. Obviously, we know sheds in practice mode are a thing. So I will turn off my pass rush. So that way I can get a look at how my route combos interact with the coverage. That's just my preference. If you guys want to leave the pass rush rushing so you can get a feel for things, that's fine. But usually down the road after I have my install, then I start to work on fine tuning my freestyling against different coverages. So that way I can figure out what check down routes I like based off of how much time I think I have. And then that will help me better set up my alerts behind my main routes that I'm using to attack vertically against a given shell. So with the cover 2, my goal is to look and see if I have anything that I can make the mid-read zone glitch out on. And you see that we have this crossing route. The mid-read zone will guard the inside-most crosser and leave the seam route over the top. So this is a very easy call to have in your arsenal when you get a cover 2, because you know that mid-read zone is going to run with the crosser, and then you can split the safeties with an inside bullet pass lead. So cover 2, check. Then your next question is, can you beat cover 3? Now there's a lot of different cover 3s out there, but we're going to focus on cover 3 sky, your traditional zone-based cover 3. We'll get into match stuff momentarily, but with cover 3, you want to look for things that can potentially bomb it. Now, all go is 1-for-1 against the cover 2. Let's see if we have anything here against the cover 3 defense. One of the things that you will always realize against cover 3 is that same route we just threw against cover 2 is a money route against cover 3, and it has been for years. A lot of players will hate running cover 3, especially shading down into hard flats because they won't get a reroute, and this is just a simple hike throw down the middle of the field for chunk yardage. But we haven't necessarily gotten this scheme into a place where I feel like, oh, if I have one play and I know my opponent is in a cover 3, what do I call to get a one play touchdown? So we're going to have to start labbing this using concepts that we know from other videos here on the channel. So again, just because you're building your own offense doesn't mean you shouldn't borrow concepts, because a comeback route streak skinny post out of a compression formation that's traditionally used to bomb cover 3, you can get the same bonus from a spread set. And even better, most players aren't going to be prepared for it when you're doing it out of a spread set, they're on high alert against the meta. They're not necessarily knowing what to think when they're facing something off meta. So what we're going to do here is we are going to go with a post to our tight end, a streak to Hawkins, a comeback to Sturdivant, and then I'm going to give myself a check down game here with Wilson. This is a very easy cover 3 beater. The only thing we might have to pay attention to is how well Hansen runs his streak. But what you'll see from the 7-on-7 is the comeback route pulls down that outside guy. Now you saw exactly what I was worried about right there. You saw that we had kind of a situation where Hansen just ran his route poorly. So what we're going to do here is we are going to go with the same combo, but we're going to instead stem up Hansen on this route. So that way, hopefully he runs the route a little bit deeper, and that will make it so that outside third on the left side stays on that comeback a little bit more. So again, we're kind of looking for him to bite down. Now, again, this is enough for us to squeeze that in, and we're looking at the 1-play score. Obviously, with your tight end being a little bit quicker, you'll get an added benefit from this. If you don't like how the tight end runs on this, you could definitely use the B receiver. I would recommend the deep over route with this concept. And the cool thing about this is that you could basically set up the exact same combo, but now you have a mesh underneath. This is a cool adaptation to a simple mesh concept. And this is where I'm talking about you start to get into your checkdowns. Now you have a couple drags. If you're getting rushed by the pass rush or they blitz you out of a cover 3 look and you have to throw hot, now you've got a low left and a low right. And later in the progression, those routes are also open in the flats as well. So you kind of get into this and you're thinking, all right, I'm looking for the bomb, looking for the bomb, looking for the bomb. You know, I could have thrown that a lot earlier. But you see right there, you're trying to get into that that window over there on that left side of the field in between the corner and the middle third safety. So we do a decent job here in that regard. Now, of course, another thing that you guys have out of All Go that you could freestyle with is this simple crossing combo. You have this streak to the B receiver. You have this crosser to the right bumper. So again, very easy to throw. So if you're getting cover 3 and you just want to go, I mean, you know that you basically can go streak on left to crossing on right and, you know, just work your drag underneath. So you could basically come out and pick up chunk yardage quickly. So if you're in an end of half, end of game scenario against a cover 3 player, you know you've got something that you could just get to the line and snap. And, you know, if they do decide to blitz you and, you know, it comes in hot, boom, you got this drag that you can throw hot. They're going to be usering in the middle of the field, not allowing you to throw that crossing route. So you've got this ability with, you know, the verticals All Go out of this look to be in a real good spot. And of course, if they ever decide to roll out of their play late into, you know, a mid blitz, you know that from early in our video that we can check into our G down and get out and go, provided you get a better block from your guard kicking out on that run. So we've got the cover 2, we've got the cover 3. Now let's get into, do we have something against cover 4? How do we bomb a cover 4 defense here with this? Well, I think that we're going to be able to do that. Okay, now we don't have a cover 4 drop out of double mug, so I'm going to kind of cheat a little bit and head over to mint for this. Now, again, one of the concepts that I've kind of shown you is that we can get, you know, pretty good results out of All Goes as just a base play. You can throw these quick seams against cover 4 and pick up chunk yardage, 15, 20 yards. A lot of players will start to walk their safeties down lower, so you can't hike throw that route though. And in those situations where you're playing a cover 4, now all of a sudden we're like, all right, well, what do we want to do to hopefully make it so we can bomb this coverage? Well, let's go back to that combo that we were looking at a little bit earlier, namely that post to the tight end, and then we kind of stem it up a little bit, and then we have the comeback route on the sideline. With the comeback route on the sideline, you may notice that you have better results when you really stem it down. I mean, again, this is just a money beater. It's not necessarily bomb setup, but it is good enough that you should feel pretty okay with this. Now, if you want to have your tight end to the wide side of the field instead against a cover 4, you can, you know, probably still kind of go with a similar call here where you could go with, you know, something more like this. And if you get a cover 4 defense, you probably could just kind of mirror your setup the other directions. Now, if you want to run your trips to the short side of the field against the cover 4, by all means, go ahead. You can just kind of flip your setup. Have a comeback route and the tight end on a streak, put right bumper on the post, maybe stem it up just a little bit. And then your goal here is just to kind of give yourself this route that could split the safety and that outside corner. Now you see right there, that outside corner, if he bites back, you can still throw your comeback route. You know, again, I think that this year they're doing a better job with making it so the, you know, the outside defenders are seeing 1-play touchdown threats a little bit better. but that does not mean that you're not going to be able to throw a bomb. You see right there on that play, had we not gotten shed, Y was wide open on that. So we do have a bomb formula for cover 3. We've got a bomb formula for cover 4. Cover 2 is easily bombed. We've checked all of our zone boxes. Now, here's one of the things that I did not kind of elaborate on at the beginning of the video because I wanted to save this for the end. Your offense has to avoid tells, okay? This is so important, and so many players get this wrong. And I really think that if you can eliminate tells in your offense, this would be a major, major benefit. If you use motion in any capacity, I don't care if it's to make a run better, to beat a cover 2 defense, to beat a cover 3 defense, or a cover 4, or match, or man, if you use motion to do any singular thing, you must then recheck every other boxes. So again, if I use motion to beat the run, I want to use that same motion, but then I need to lab up a cover 2 look that we can beat from it, a cover 3 look, a cover 4 look, a man beater, and a match beater. This way, no matter what your opponent throws at you, you can mix everything together. So if you motion that slot receiver to do one thing, you better build out the rest of the scheme and build 5 or 6 new plays that do every other thing for you effectively. Now, one other thing I want to talk about, the freestyle element. You guys have to have something you are comfortable with that is basically your money play or your everything beater. This doesn't have to be something that's a crazy hot route combo that takes 10 seconds at the line of scrimmage to set up. This could be a play you're just really, really, really comfortable with. You've run it 7 million times and you just know it like the back of your hand, and you can get the ball quickly into people's hands. I don't care what it is. It could be the slant post combo out of trips tight end. Whatever it is that you run, you need something that you can hang your hat on where when in doubt, you go to your everything beater and get yourself back to the home base. We're all going to be in situations time and time again this year where maybe we're not comfortable. You don't know what your opponent's in. You don't really know what your opponent's rolling into post snap. Maybe you get an idea of something pre-snap. They're using shells, showing you a cover 3 and then it rolls into a cover 4 post snap and you're confused. In those situations where your opponent is always showing you one thing and it's something else when the ball's snapped, this is where you have to have your everything beater, because you're not relying on pre-snap reads and going into your scheme and thinking, all right, well, what's my setup for the bomb for cover 3? Because they might just be fake showing you cover 3 and rolling into a cover 2. In those situations, you need something that you feel comfortable throwing against cover 3, cover 4, and cover 2 zones, and that's your everything beater. So for a lot of players, you know, trips tight end players, it's the tight end on a post and a slot receiver on a slant. You just work the middle of the field, high, low, left, and right at the same time. For bunch players, a lot of people like to stem down the outside player on a corner route because they know it basically beats cover 3, cover 4, and gets over the top of, you know, hard flats, and a lot of times it gets over the top of a cloud flat on the sideline to the wide side of the field. Your everything beater can be a single route that's money or an entire play that's money. Whatever you're comfortable with, you need to have your money play that you feel really comfortable with. And another thing that I want to leave you guys with is your scheme can be pass heavy, but if it is, maybe you just lack enough runs that are viable. Like for me in this offense here, this empty trips Y off shovel option, it's not very good. It's broken. You know, I didn't even really break down a ton of plays. I broke down G down, but in certain cases, you're going to want to get into looks where you've got to win the game on the ground. Maybe you're up by 4 with 1:15 left and you need a first down and you need a run that's going to work. It's okay if you have a secondary audible out offense, but I would just advise you that if it's just an audible down to a single run and you do that 100% of the time, you need to probably recheck all those boxes in that new formation, or at least have one thing you can do in that formation against cover 2, cover 3, cover 4. I think you understand what I'm getting at. But hopefully this video was beneficial for you guys. I know it's a little bit on the longer side, but I get this question every single year of how to lab an offense from scratch. So I hope this really did help you guys out. If you did, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, check out gridirongameplans.gg. I'm up out of here. I will see you guys tomorrow. Until then, this is Ann. Get in the lab and good luck.